is West Ham Unofficial. Come on, your Irons. West Ham continue their Premier League campaign when they welcome Tottenham. We welcome the Spurs to the London Stadium with just 1 point separating the two sides. Spurs come off the back of a 3-2 victory away at Newcastle, which saw them go behind early but battled back in the game before half-time. As for West Ham, we do currently occupy 7th place in the table. We are flying high in the Europa League, though, as we saw last night, winning 3-0 at home to Genk in a proper European competition, Sean.
They're all rubbish. Unless you're the Champions League, you're not anything.
Proper one. Here we go. Not no Conference League. Here it is. Look, programme Europa League. Look at that, Europa League.
I put up with years of the Europa League. I've been there, done that.
How are you there, mate? Spurs fan, how are you feeling for the game? You're confident?
What, for the weekend coming up?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think many Spurs fans can say they've been confident for many games for a couple of seasons because you just don't know what Tottenham you're going to get.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter whether it was Pochettino in the last 6 months. That was even before the Champions League final. They were on a bit of a downward spiral, and then we obviously had Jose. You didn't really know what you were getting with him. Mason had a little go. Nuno's having a go. You just can't be. You can think you got your head around it. You look at different aspects. Like, always try to look at different angles on games and opinions. You know what I mean? And don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, you spoke about just before we came on air. There was some light banter at the London Stadium last night. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go a couple of times last night. As you lost, I don't even know what country this team came from last night in the Conference League. Does any Spurs fan care about this competition?
Well, you don't do history at school then, do you? If you haven't heard of Arnhem, not done Arnhem in the war yet? No. All right, we'll move on.
All right, yeah.
They're from Holland. I think they finished. I think they finished 4th in the Dutch league, and that gets you in this Europa thing,
right?
Conference thing. I think it's what Spurs fans are always very split on a lot of opinions. If you go on social media, you'll see ones that think Tanga and Ndombele's are God's gift, the best thing since Glenn Hoddle. Others will call him an absolute bum who shouldn't be anywhere near the football club. Spurs fans' opinions are so divided. I think some have been a little bit angry about last night. A large majority are like, it's not that important. And and then you have the same sort of argument with discussions with fans that will say Tottenham can't be picky, they haven't won a trophy in 20 years. That's true, but then the argument going back is, are we really counting this as a trophy? It's about like, I think the last trophy that West Ham won was the Intertoto Cup, probably before you were born. Am I correct?
Hang on. I think we need to scale back to August this year when we won the Betway Cup. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
when we beat Atalanta, who gave Man United a good go on Tuesday, Wednesday night.
Well, that's fair enough. You know where I'm going with this, so
yeah.
My opinion is it's not a million miles better than the Intertoto Cup. If you went back to and looked at the fixture and maybe West Ham beat that year, it'd be a similar pedigree of clubs, but a few like Roma and your Tottenham's chucked in on top to gloss it up. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's tough, and I'm sure you know that everyone that started against Newcastle didn't even board a plane.
See, what does that tell you, though, about your cup final on Sunday?
It's only West Ham's cup final. You can't even sell it out.
Oh, off he goes, off he goes. It's your cup final.
It's not even a sellout. They're still flogging tickets. Come and get your tickets. Can't even sell out the biggest game of the season. That's poor.
Oh,
that
my
is
Lord.
poor.
You took about 50 fans over to Rennes for the conference game, and we took about 1,500 to Zagreb.
I know. It's just... Well, you haven't been on the European tour for a long time, have you? Was it at least 10?
Good point.
So it's... What it is Tottenham spent... how many years? They slowly climbed the table a little bit when they got Martin Yeo in, and they missed out on about 3 seasons in a row. And I don't know if you can think that far back, but Daniel Levy sacked Martin Yeo at half-time in a game. Yeah. And so Levy's always craved that Champions League. Yeo didn't quite get in there. Redknapp come in after a couple of other faded managers. And he got it 1 year, and then we missed out a couple. And then Pochettino come in. I think we had 4 seasons at 5 in the Champions League. And in that over the 5-year period, only Man City have more. I always say to you about spoiled football fans, and even that little 5-year period of Champions League, it does spoil you as a fan. And it's hard to sort of go back, if you know what I mean. You can accept it, but from selling out Champions League games at Wembley, beating Dortmund, beating Real Madrid, and then you've got to go away to Rennes in a Conference Cup. It's just going to be the hardcore that go, basically.
Yeah. Just a little stat that I want to bring up for West Ham, and it's about my man. It is about my man, Craig Dawson. Look at this. Dawson loves a goal. No Premier League defender has scored more goals in all club competitions in 2021 than Craig Dawson. Forget Ruben Diaz, forget Virgil van Dijk, forget Eric Dyer, forget the lot. It's Craig Dawson. I just had to bring it. It up.
He's like a comedy act, isn't he, that bloke?
A comedy act? A comedy act who scored last night. You couldn't even score against the Dutch side. There he is, look. Here he is. Oh, he's gone. Where is he?
He went off injured, didn't he, in the end? Did he go off injured?
No. There he is, look. The beautiful man, Craig Dawson. There he is.
Oh, he can have a rest. No, he'll be nowhere near the pitch.
He will. That's a very good point, because he probably won't be. But let's dive into the chat and see who's in the chat. Shiny G, hope you are. James, Simon, hope you are well, my man. Gary as well. First Gary of the evening. It was a very good night out last night, James. 2 goals in 2 minutes. Made the last half an hour very comfortable. Here we go. That's because we don't sell out when we play crap teams.
That's final, isn't it?
Jake takes no prisoners. Lasagna Gate. He had to score at our end. I got it on film as well. Craig Dawson knew that I was watching. What a man. Rennes is much closer than, say, Newcastle. Probably is as well. But in terms of the game, Harry Kane got on the score sheet for the first time in the Premier League so far this season last weekend at Newcastle. Is he... you said he hasn't been as bad as the press has been reporting. Do you think he's going to just start bagging in goals now?
What he's had lacking is that little bit of confidence in front of goal, I would say. I don't remember back if we had an England game, because he scores nearly every single time for England, and I think he scored in this one in the end. But at the beginning of the season, he went clean through twice. And normally he just whip his foot around it in the bottom corner, and I think he hit both of them straight to keeper. That sort of sums up how he's been. He's been having chances. He scored a nice deft flick against Newcastle. Obviously got an assist. He's had all week in the training ground. I'll be surprised if he's not there and thereabouts when the golden boot's been dished out, to be honest. He could quite easily be 2 or 3 behind within a month. So I'll be surprised if he's not far off 20 goals come May. So yeah.
In terms of West Ham, I mean, we've been on pretty impressive form. Do you think the Spurs fan base are going to be going into this and thinking this is one of the toughest West Ham games we've come up against in the last few years, let's say?
Oh yeah, I don't think they're not daft. I think everyone can see that West Ham have progressed under the manager. I've said many times, I think you've got some good players, but I think it's more about the shape and the work rate and the actual team ethic he's got going there. So when you play against teams that have got those boxes ticked, it's always going to be tough.
Yeah.
So Spurs fans are under no illusions at all that it's going to be a tough game. It's probably a game against the teams. I think I said to you the other day, the title will probably be decided about when the teams play each other, the Chelsea's, Man City's, Liverpool's. And I think you probably think Tottenham, West Ham, Leicester, Everton, you might squeak Arsenal in. They'll be around each other as well. So yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. I'll be surprised if West Ham fans think it's an easy game as well. So it's one of those.
Yeah. Well, we did see it. We did see it around a year ago this month, and this week even, that in that first 16 minutes of that game, Spurs are deadly in the counter attack, and we saw that in the Newcastle game as well. Do you believe that with the likes of Heung-min Son and these big name players who are starting to perform up front, do you believe they're almost being your saviour?
What, this season or last few seasons?
We'll go this season.
Not this season, not at all. No, I think last season under Jose. You might not know this, but obviously you keep harping back to the 3-3 we had with you, the draw. Tottenham fans kind of think that was the moment Jose panicked. Because up to that point, we were playing attacking, free-flowing football, scoring goals. The moment we chucked away that 3-goal lead, after that, he instantly went negative. And as soon as he went negative, his main form of attack from then on was a counter-attack. So last year, I think we come 8th last year. I think, believe it or not, I think the Tottenham's front three last year on the stats was the best in Europe. I think, having Son, Kane, and Bale, the stats those three hit. But then the rest of the team, obviously, we're parking the bus a lot. If you park the bus, you're putting the pressure on the defence. I think whilst that front three was one of the highest in Europe, for I think what I used to call us last year. Come to me a minute. Oh, individual error FC. I used to call us. There you go. I think the amount of individual errors in the goals is by far the highest in the league. Even right up, I think it was almost level the team that finished bottom. Penalties, you'd have Dyer giving away penalties, Sanchez, because everything was last ditch. Do you know what I mean? So the team did sort of. We were sitting back trying to counter. That's putting a lot of pressure on the defence. That's also putting a lot of pressure on your forwards, who might only have 4 chances a game to take 2 or 3. They did that, and our midfield just a bit of a mishmash last year. Do you know? But this year, no, I'm seeing a lot more balance this year. I'm sure you're not an Eric Dyer fan, but he was nominated for Player of the Month, the first month of the season. He scored a ridiculous own goal against Newcastle. But he started 90. No, he started every single game.
Yeah.
But he looks better now. The pressure's off, and the midfield has got proper protection. The fullback Reguilon looks better now. We're more balanced. We brought in. I think we brought in a world-class centre half. We've only started to see glimpses of it already, but you can already see the class act. We brought in Oliver Skip in the midfield. I was confident he was going to be very good, and he has been very good. And that sort of pushed out.
Not according to Josh.
Yeah, Josh is just reading off the BBC website. Yeah, but before then, you had in that midfield, you had sort of Højbjerg. Højbjerg splits opinions a lot as well, because he can be brilliant. Other times he's just charging around and looks a bit lost. So if you put in someone like Skip next to him, who's a lot more disciplined, he can get around the pitch. But last year you had like a Sissoko or a Winks, who's both their Spurs careers you sense were fading fast. So there's balance there. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on any 1, 2, or 3 at the moment. It's a balanced team.
Yeah. Who, James? Oh, it's Lanzini. Oh, it's just such a Spurs thing to do. No other club, like literally this decade, will do that. It's just Spurs and West Ham's what it is. But before we carry on, I get myself caught up in what I did. Before we carry on, I'd like to thank our channel sponsors, SRM Carver and Son. Check them out by using the link in the description down below. Sean, take a 15-second breather.
Yeah.
Our fantastic channel sponsor here on West Ham Unofficial are SRM Carver and Son. SRM Carver and Son provides crushing, screening and aggregate recycling services across southern England. If you'd like to find out more information on SRM, please click the link in the description down below to check out more information on their website. Thank you very much to SRM Carver and Son for sponsoring West Ham Unofficial, and come on, you Irons. So, you mentioned your world-class centre-back. We'll put that to the test on Sunday with Mikel Antonio. Do you think Dyer and Romero are going to be able to cope with Mikel Antonio, who's up there for the Golden Boot at the moment?
Yeah, I do think they can cope with it. Romero has looked very, very good. If someone's going to be overcritical to him, Callum Wilson did get a yard on him at the front post to score a header at the weekend. But I'm not really a fan of overanalyzing a goal and picking fault and blaming that. Newcastle come out the blocks flying. I think Reguilon was out of position and they put a brilliant ball in. Striker, if you're not making good runs across the centre half in the Premier League as a striker, you probably shouldn't be in the Premier League. So, and they'll probably do similar balls to Antonio, who try and be physical. He's a handful, but if they can't handle him, then they're not going places as a club because they've got better strikers to mark in the league than him. But yeah, he's a handful.
Oh, so you say better strikers, but you know, Mikel Antonio's almost in his own league because you don't get really anyone else apart from the likes of Adama Traore like him. You know, the physical. You know, you brought in Romero from a different league. You've got the very, very physical side of Mikel Antonio being the target man up there.
Yeah, I don't know. I do rate Antonio. I think months and months ago, you asked me if there's one West Ham player I'd take in the Spurs squad other than Deck, and I picked Antonio because off the bench he could be a handful. But he's not going to get anywhere near a top 4 side, is he? He's just not. And you could argue, like Leicester have now got 3 strikers because that lad scored 4 in the week.
Okay.
So that's your 5th best team, and then after that you're into, is he much better than say Calvert-Lewin? Is he a similar player? Do you know what I mean? So, and I would say the same if you ask me if it was Tottenham Everton, I'd say the same. If Calvert-Lewin is going to run your centre backs ragged, and I'd say the same to you. Like last week, I know he didn't play, but when West Ham played Calvert-Lewin, if you can't handle Calvert-Lewin, then you're not going to be any better than a 6th, 7th team in the league, are you? So you've got to answer being a little bit ambitious. Romero's come in. Yes, coming from another league, but he was officially ranked the #1 centre back in that league, and that is the Italian league, who are well known for having world-class defenders, and he's the best Argentinian defender. So he's not going to be shy to a battle like he's had Lukaku to deal with last year in the Italian league. They're not so. Yeah, he's learning on the job a little bit, but you've got to be a little bit ambitious. Do you know what I mean? You can't just think, oh yeah, he's going to cause. If he thinks he's going to rip us to pieces, then we got to improve. So no, he'll have a good game. You might score, but I'd like to think he'll be kept reasonably quiet. I don't think I don't think the game will be won and lost in that area.
A question in from Shiny G. Shiny says, Does Sean think Daniel Levy regrets not releasing Kane? Son did very well when Kane was throwing a sickie, and the £100 million would have been very useful.
No, I don't think he regret it whatsoever. To an owner like Levy, what's 100 million? To be honest, I know it sounds a crazy amount of money, but you've then got to go into the market and guarantee you can get the right player. And you've got to remember that Tottenham at the moment aren't a Champions League side. So straight away, you're up against it trying to replace with even close to the same quality. Like everyone's got. If you're not a Champions League side, which obviously improves how attractive you are straight away, you've got to look at other sides. So, yeah, they do have things at the club which can attract players. We've got a brilliant director of football who knows the Italian league very, very well. Obviously, they've got the stadium, the training ground, being in London. They're going down that route. They're paying more wages. That Kane's on about $250 a week. They couldn't pay that 10 years ago. So they got things going for them, but you've still got to then find the right player to put this 100 million. And I think after about 3 or 4 iffy games, Kane's starting to slowly improve. He doesn't, like the press is saying, he doesn't look happy. But you watch when Tottenham score a goal, he looks as happy as anyone. When that goal was allowed against Newcastle, the whole team were on top of him. Do you know what I mean? So no, Daniel Levy won't regret it one little bit. Even next summer, he's still got 2 years on his deal, so he's still holding all the aces there.
Let's have a little look at the chat. Eric Dyer. Antonio is top quality so far this season, but he hasn't got Bowen's song. Andy's in the chat. What's Bowen doing? Sean won't know, but what is? Or he might know. He might know. You never know. He doesn't know. So what's Bowen doing? It was mentioned a few times at the supporters club and in the ground with you, Andy, last night. Jake, have you sung Tottenham get battered everywhere they go? Tottenham. I sung that last night. Sung it last night as well. It's got to be done. Evening, ladies. Hope you're well. Luke Simon's in the building. He certainly is. I can't wait to stuff you 4-0 on Sunday. You underestimate us like everyone does.
They don't. They really don't. I don't know where that comes from. They really don't.
Oh, there we go. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Gary says, does Sean think looking at the stats over the past 2 seasons, West Ham have leapfrogged Spurs?
What? Well, they're only above Spurs one season. Was it not the season before as well? Was it? It was just last year.
Let me have a look.
I'm sure.
I think so. Let me have a look. So,
one season since the 90s, I think, isn't it?
2021 we finished above you, and 2020/21, and you finished 16th that season, didn't we? One season, so in the 2020/21 season.
They've had one good season. No, they definitely haven't leaped above them, because I think Tottenham, although at the moment the last couple of years have been on a little decline, I think they've struggled with a bit of recruitment. They've struggled finding, once the Pochettino era sort of fizzled out. Well, that was mainly due to lack of backing and investment and scouting, because they didn't back him for 18 months. Yeah, they are sort of trying to find what the direction they're going in. I can't disagree with that. But West Ham have only had one good season. I do rate David Moyes. I rate David Moyes as a manager at the level that West Ham are now. I think I've said to you as many times, he did the same with Everton. He took them to 5th and he peaked. You know what I mean? Did he get in the Champions League qualifiers once? I can't remember. Didn't they finish 4th and then lost in the playoff or something daft like that once? I think. So he's going to be good around that level. Unfortunately for West Ham, I think he's gone there. Was good at that level, and there's more and more money's come in now. Do you know what I mean? The top 4 this year, I know United looked a bit iffy. It's richer and stronger than ever, and you've got the Chase and Pack are now very rich. I mean, everyone's got these big owners, but Tottenham, I'm not the biggest fan of Daniel Levy. He's no one that splits fans, but they've got plenty of money and they've got plenty going for them. They pay bigger wages than West Ham, so if both teams, put it this way, both clubs are after the same player this summer and they're both, say, in the Europa League, I strongly think most would probably go to Tottenham, unless they've got some kind of link to another player, because they just are at the moment. Not going back for long history, they're just a club with a bit more pedigree at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like when I keep going harping back to the Champions League. When you're in the Champions League, people remember you. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, you have. It's probably back before you were born as well, Jake. But Arsenal fans used to bang the drum that they've been I think it was 20 years in a row in the Champions League. They didn't win it, but they would always attract half decent players because of that. That's sort of fizzled out now. So you have to be careful. On the other hand, how long you're out of it, because you can't. Although you can shoot after about 5 or 6 years after, the gap gets bigger and bigger, and Arsenal are finding that now. But at the moment, no, I definitely don't think West Ham have overtook Tottenham. I think West Ham had a very good year last year. I think there wasn't many points between them, was there, last year? But I think the gap would be quite close this year. If you ask me now who'd finish higher, West Ham and Tottenham, I think it's a flip a coin job at the moment.
Yeah. Let's have a little look in the chat. Great result, Leif Driver. Yeah, we got back about 1:01 this morning from the Europa League. It was right. Andy, what time did you get back, mate? I'm going 3-1 or 3-2. Simon's going 3-2. Oh, Andy says, I can see us going a goal down, coming back to win. Zuma, Rice and Antonio. Or Bowen scoring on and off the pitch. Jared Bowen's on fire.
Jake, I've got a little question for you and your West Ham followers. On your Facebook page, a couple of weeks ago, when I put a post up about West Ham are going to find out what it's like having a smallish squad with the Europa League to deal with.
Yeah.
So I just seen like someone said then they think might go behind and then go on and win. Okay, you've played before last night. You've played 2 Europa League games this season. Okay, yeah. I've done a bit of research here. So, one of the games you lost 2-1, conceded in the 89th minute. Mm-hmm. That was the Sunday after a Thursday Europa League game. The other game you lost 2-1 and conceded the final goal in the 94th minute. Is that something you're concerned with going into Sunday? Because 100%. That is...
It was after we drew with Southampton and we looked very flat against Southampton away after a Europe game. When we play in the I think all West Ham fans will admit we've got a very small squad. We perhaps needed a left back and a striker extra to come in the transfer window. And pretty much every Sunday game we've played after, whether it was Carabao Cup or Europa League, we haven't looked as good, and hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Do you think? Sunday? I looked into. I'm pretty sure the Premier League games. Obviously, I think you've only lost twice at home anyway. So one of them was the Man U game. One was the Brentford game.
Yeah.
So do you think there's any being late, conceding so late? Have you started to look tired towards the end of these games, or is that just coincidence?
I think for the Man United game, it was always going to happen. Jesse Lingard scored the winner. It was written in the stars. And Brentford, it might have been a little bit of tiredness, but to be fair, it was a very lucky goal. Corner. Fabianski punched the ball out, and it fell straight to their man, and he just whacked it in. I don't know. Frustrating conceding 2 late goals at home, but maybe a hint of tiredness in there because of how we play. It's very high intensity. It's very pressing. We nick balls off centre backs. High press, maybe. But it's definitely something we've seen. We've been flat after Europe games, but hopefully not on Sunday. Let's have a little look in the chat. I'm going to scroll up. Luke says, as it is apparently a cup final, we will win as they choke in cup finals. But importantly, it was last season that West Ham topped Spurs. Miss Hammer, I hope you are well. The only thing I fear is giving Spurs the same misplaced respect we gave Man United in 3 terrible losses before the League Cup win. Let them worry about us. We are West Ham. Yeah. At times, David Moyes has the nab to respect teams a little bit too much and not go for it. I think he's got that out of his game now, but yeah, we won't do that for Spurs. It's Peachy. We can't seem to find him. I spoke to him yesterday. He's all right. Don't panic, Crosshour. As I say to the wife. It may be small, but full of talent. There we go, Luke. Fantastic. That is quote of the day. Gaza, hope you are well. Disabled team, hope you are well. I ain't going to lie, the squad is thin, but it's all about momentum. Keep winning games with the same squad. It gets you over the line. as what we did in 85-86. Yeah, this is what I've said. And Sean, I'll ask you this: whether it's crucial in Europe when you've had Europa League and Champions League in the past. I've said it's crucial that we don't lose 2 Premier League games on the trot, because then it can very quickly stack up on you. You know, if you lose a couple of Premier League games and then you lose in the Europa League, it stacks up very quickly, and then all of a sudden you're playing again. But we haven't done that so far, which is good.
I think West Ham are there, and there's that sort of place at the moment where you're all buzzing because you're in Europe. If you've got a Finnish squad, as soon as you're in Europe, your Premier League might take a dip. If West Ham managed to finish where they did last season, was it 6th you come last year? 6th, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6th. If you manage to come 6th and make it to the quarter-final, semi-final of this cup, I think you've done very, very well. If you don't, I'll be surprised if you don't spot a dip or two somewhere along the line. The dip might even be when you come up against an exciting Spanish side in the Europa League or something like that in the knockout. Because at the moment you're doing the West Ham thing. You're playing quite good football, but you're organised. You're hard to beat. You're pressing. You're working hard. In the Europa League, some of the continental sides do take it serious, and you might think, "Whoa, we haven't seen this yet." Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It might even be someone like if you don't watch a lot of foreign football, it might be someone like you've not even seen in the Premier League. You can be very shocked in the Europa League. You think, oh, you look at the league table, we all do it. Oh, West Ham are 5th in the Premier League. So and so are 5th in the Spanish league. Oh, it'll be an even game. They come out and they tear you to pieces. It can surprise English clubs in that. But yeah, you don't want to lose back-to-back games. I don't know. Even after you won it the weekend, didn't you? So
yeah,
would you say your point was that bad this weekend after winning in Europe?
I think all West Ham fans, if you would have said another, top 6 club, if you would have said, if you've got Man United or something and said, yeah, I'll take a point. I don't think West Ham fans like to say I'd take a point against Spurs because it's our biggest derby in the Premier League. Of course, we got Millwall, but they're happy clogging along in the Championship, not doing anything. You are one of our biggest games. You're up there because it's our fiercest derby in the Premier League. All West Ham fans, of course, would want 3 points. Some will probably take a point for this, but probably if a point's handed to you now, just because I don't want to lose to Spurs and see your face when you come on the show next week when you've beat us. That won't happen anyway. But I don't think we'll lose this game. That's what I'm going to say. I might be sitting on the fence here a little bit, but we won't lose this game.
You're a little bit scared. That's what you're scared to commit. That's what you are.
Never.
You're just scared of. Be honest. You're just a little bit scared of Kane and Son clicking. And you can all admit it. That's what you're worried about. You're probably not worried about anyone else.
I'll correct you. I'm probably scared of Son clicking, but Kane. Not doing anything really, is he? He scored 1 goal. Yeah. He'll nod them in, but Son's the danger man here.
All right, we'll come back to this. We'll see how we get on the weekend. We'll come back to this one.
Hope you're well, Pat. Lacazette and Lingard, 6 months left then on a free transfer, could be worth looking at in January. Both getting on the older side, but proven track record in the Premiership. I mean, a proven striker. Obviously, Lingard, I think most West Ham fans would take now, but it's just a dilemma. We've now got Vlasic, all of these players. Where are we going to fit them all in? But Lacazette is a proven striker in the Premier League. I think most people on a decent wage, not too extortionate, wouldn't turn their nose up at that. But let us know in the chat. There will be 8 changes on Sunday, in my opinion. Fitness should be no excuse. Fatigue will set in though with fatigue will set in especially with our numbers, but yeah, Chester's and co were massive. Yeah, it was one thing I do want to say. Chester's came on last night, young lad, fair play to Moyes. He came on in the 89th minute, nothing was going on, we were 3-0 up. He brought a young lad on, to to make dreams come true, really, and that was fantastic from Moyes last night. I think all Premier League club fans will want West Ham to win. Yeah, probably, to be honest, because just no one likes Spurs. Southampton don't like Spurs because you nicked their song. Nobody else just really just. Nobody just likes Spurs. It's just Spurs. 2-1 JP positive. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. They certainly do. Sunday will be a cagey game, and I can see 1-1 or 2-1 either way. Kane loves a goal or two against us. Stop Son, stop Spurs. Would you agree with that? Stop Son, stop Spurs.
I wouldn't. Not really. No. Son can be outstanding, and he's one for the big moment. He does have quiet games, believe it or not, and he can dip off here and there. His form sort of fluctuates a little bit. But what a lot of people say, ignore the bitter fans who are still a bit grumpy with Kane. Kane's our best player. I would say Son's possibly our most important player. What I mean by that is if Kane's injured, which he's missed 6-7 games in a row for, Son can step up to the plate and we can bring someone in alongside him and we can carry a run on. Our record without Kane over the last 5 seasons is not that bad. It's quite good. However, if Son misses 5 or 6 games, Kane misses that link up. And we probably don't have someone as good as Son who can link up the play, we've got runners to the ball. Like Moura, he's dangerous. His end product's nowhere near what Son's is. We've got Bergwijn, very similar. He can beat 2 players, go clean him in a goalie, and he spoons it every time. Whereas Son, he's dangerous from the moment he gets the ball to the moment he unleashes the shot. You know if he's going to pull the trigger, he's not going to be far from the target. So we can cope without Kane, although he's probably our best player. We will struggle badly if we don't have Son. So, yeah. If those two click, they're going to trouble anyone. But I don't know. It's the answer to that. I don't know.
Luke says, stick Dawson on Kane. Luke, I love you. Stick Dawson on Kane. They chased the ball. That's brilliant. They chased the ball together. Time might stand still. I don't think Dawson will start, but that stat I read you a little bit earlier on, he's a threat from corners. The one thing I do want to mention is we're starting to get our set piece goal scoring train back off and running again. 9 games I think it was so far this season we haven't scored from a set piece, and we score 3 goals from set pieces in 2 games. We're starting to get that going again now, which is lovely. So you've got Dawson. If he starts, I doubt he will. You've got Souček. You've got Rice could get his head on it. Of course, you've got Zuma. You've got Ogbonna. Plenty of aerial threat for Spurs' back line to deal with. Antonio does love a goal against the Spuds. He certainly does. He loves breaking records against the Spuds. He just loves it. Antonio, indeed. Moura can be dangerous. He certainly can. Would love Lacazette for a couple of seasons until we can find a younger striker or bring someone through the youth. I'd be inclined to agree there, as long as the wages. Sean's shaking his head. As long as we keep the wages down. I fear his wages would be through the roof, but. Moura will be on Creswell and he has no pace, so that will suit Creswell. Crosshammer says Antonio is going to have at least 3 from. We need Bowen and Co to take over as well. Yeah, this comment for sure. Deck will be up for this game, and he's already fantastic. You already know, all West Ham fans already know, Sean, that Declan Rice will be right up for this game. You've got something to deal with in the middle of the park.
Of course he will. But on this game, of course he will, because he's West Ham through and through. But Sky Sports are already trying to sell him. they got bored of trying to sell Harry Kane, so that they're on the. As soon as Declan Rice has a good game, they're just pushing other clubs to buy him. So you know what's coming. It's not. I don't think you haven't got the power to keep him like Tottenham have got the power to keep Kane. So I think deep down, you know what's coming, but let's ignore that and talk about now, because you've got to enjoy the players while you've got them. He is a class player. He is class. You know what it feels like to have a player is probably a little bit too good for the club where you are at the moment. You know that. the centre midfield is an interesting area on Sunday. I've said to you a few times that Tottenham need to change to 4-2-3-1. I think that's the formation roughly that you'll be playing as well Sunday, probably.
Yeah.
So it'll be an even matchup in there. And I think, I'll be honest, what you just said a minute ago about your set pieces, that could be a weak area for Tottenham. That when you mentioned that, if you've got somebody who can put a good delivery in,
yeah,
that could be iffy for Tottenham. But yeah, the centre midfield, we'll put it this way, with Tottenham, there's not really one player at West Ham who I say, I'm worried about him, worried about him. With Tottenham, really, I'm more worried about us. I'm more worried about certain players of ours not turning up, getting bullied by Declan Rice, do you know what I mean? Or if Antonio...
Let's put it this way then. So would you say that your starting two central midfielders currently are Skip and Højbjerg? Would you say that?
Yeah, I would.
So take their shirts off, who they play for. You've got two central midfield positions out of Thomas Souček, Declan Rice, Højbjerg, and Oliver Skip. Which two do you put in there?
I would have Declan Rice as being the more of the runner who can play out the ball.
Yeah.
And I'd have Oliver Skip sitting in front of the back four.
Fair play. Yeah. Take that.
And a lot of like I said, Højbjerg splits fans a lot, but he can.
I was about to say that.
He could be classed. Don't forget he was in the Euro 2020 team of the tournament, so he can play, and he can be a bit box to box like Rice and get a goal. But I think Rice is just far more consistent, and I think Oliver Skip, Souček, a good player, but I think Oliver Skip will be in the England squad soon, and I think he's a very intelligent holding midfielder. But so if you're playing 4-2-3-1, you're the sort of player who would be like in the 10 role, or the point of the midfield would be Ben Rama. Is that correct? Would it be Ben Rama?
Yeah. We tend to interchange things. We've got our 3 and 1 up front, which will be Ben Rama, Fornals, Bowen, and Antonio. They tend to interchange in the middle. With Ben Rama will drop in there every now and then. You've got Fornals, Bowen will come in, but yeah, it tends to be Ben Rama or Fornals who tend to point that 3.
Tottenham's reply to that is where I think the game could be won and lost, and it's favourite Tanguy Ndombele. If he wants to play and turn on, and he's fit and he doesn't get kicked and he's not bullied and he's sharp, he can be the best player on that football field on Sunday. However, and he has done it against good teams. He was the best player he was outstanding against Man City, Man United last year. One of the reasons we bought him is because he run a game in the Champions League when he played I think he played for Lille in the Champions League against Man City. He can do it. But a team like West Ham, who are going to be in his face, they're not going to probably let him have the ball skills that he's got, because he's a magician with the ball at his feet. That's my concern. Whether he's sort of got the free role. It's sort of like a 10 role, but he's sort of chasing back a little bit. If he goes missing and you don't see him, that could be where you win the game, I think.
So do you see the hype? I mean, a lot of Spurs fans I've seen are hyping up Højbjerg and hyping up Ndombele, and these sort of players, and you've got these players. Do you see the hype with these players?
It's Højbjerg can look brilliant. I think fans can get a bit blinkered by what you call a fist clencher. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Højbjerg celebrate winning a tackle. He'll right like grit his teeth. They call him the Viking. He's like a warrior on the field. Do you know what I mean? But he's a warrior that can run around in circles and up his own backside. And Ndombele, like I said, there's no surprise at all that now and again you hear the biggest clubs in the world linked to him. The very best, because on the ball he is excellent, and you can surround him with 3 players and he'll somehow come out of it doing these outrageous flicks. So I do, on ability wise, with Ndombele, I totally get the hype, but he's completed 90 minutes 10 times in the Premier League in over 2 seasons. So it's he's worth keeping an eye on Sunday. Put it that way. How I'm thinking about how West Ham play and how they are. It's in my head. It's a game that doesn't suit him at all.
Yeah.
But step up, and he was brilliant against Newcastle, or obviously gave Makers space. So the Rice area, I'm not overly worried about that. He'll have a good game. He always does. Not concerned about Ben Ramad that much. I think we can deal with that. But when we get the ball, he's Ndombele's our ball playing midfielder. He's got a goal on him. He's got an outrageous assist on him. If he wants to play, and there's no excuse not to. The 11 that start on Sunday didn't even fly to Holland yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no excuse in any way, shape, or form. Like I think Rice played an hour last night and was hooked off. That's an hour. But it's not just the game you got to remember as well. If you're behind the scenes at a training ground you've got 2 games coming up, okay? They'll have to plan for game last night and they'll have to plan for Tottenham. So Rice and the others that started last night would have had to been in the training sessions, the team meetings for the Genk game, okay? So the Tottenham players, I'd imagine, probably weren't for their trip. So it's not just the fact of playing that night. There's more to it, the prep work behind the scenes. So if Tottenham, they could get beat because West Ham are probably a more organised and settled team at the moment. If you're talking individuals, I'd probably say Tottenham have got a better team of individuals still. But as a team and the time that Moyes has had there, I say West Ham are a better network, a team. They've bonded. They know more what you're going to expect. You know what sort of you don't really expect a shocking performance. Tottenham can throw in a howler. So yeah, just keep an eye on Ndombele. There is hype there, but how long do you give him a chance to do it? I don't think he probably hasn't even completed 90 minutes 2 games in a row in the Premier League. Yeah.
Let's have a little look in the chat. You better be concerned about Ben Rama. Peach is here. Don't you fear. JAK to the E and a place to be. Hope you well, Peach. People getting worried earlier, Peach, where the hell you were, but he's here. Don't worry. Right, let's scroll up in the chat and let's go here. Shiny Jesus, we still want Spurs to give us a game on Sunday. I've backed Kane for 3 shots off target and Son giving us a throw-in from his lone shot. Would you agree? Quick fire, yes or no? Our West Ham's defence is better than Spurs' defence.
You want these quick answers? No, nothing's ever a quick answer with Tottenham. That's the problem. Right now, who's got the best defence? I would say just West Ham.
Thank you, Lucas Moore. Lucas, I haven't even read it. And Sean is shaking. He said Lucas Moore is also a quick danger man. If Spurs played him in the final, might have won. Cheers, Pat. You've wound him up now. Brilliant. I would be tempted for 5 at the back with Dawson as one of the 3, but I think that's being defensive. Moyes hasn't done that all season. And I think that's just pulling the defensive card. As much as I want Dawson to be in these teams, not for me, Gary. Good comment from Luke here. He says, he says Højbjerg is gonna come up against 2 players he can't bully. He will be on the ref all 90. Need to be aware of that. I agree, definitely. There ain't no bullying Rice or Souček, that is for sure. London derby, let's hope the ref and officials don't make a mess of it. Let's hope so. Antonio against their centre-backs could be carnage. We just need to feed him as much as possible, pace and power. 5 at the back, though. Gary would say we're defending all game. Maybe 4 at the back, but I do get yeah, I get it, but it's just a little bit defensive, I think. What happened to Winks, Sean? Was told he was the new Modric.
I'm going to hark back to the Champions League again. He had a game in the Bernabeu, was it at Wembley? Champions League anyway. He ran rings around Modric and Kroos when we played them, and that is where the hype come from. He's obviously another Tottenham lad through the academy. And for England, I really liked him for England when they played a midfield 3. In a 2, he struggles. He doesn't have enough options to give the ball to? I don't. The answer to that is I don't know. I do. He's one of about 3 or 4 that played last night that just need to move for their own sake. I'm not really a fan. Like, you know what people are like, whether he's Tottenham through and through or not, you get fans that just slag into him, tear him in pieces. I'm not really into that because he's been with the club since he's 10. So for his own sake, it's good if he had a move, really. I don't know. I think he just looks all over the place, if I'm totally honest. And
yeah,
he's not. Yeah, he's neat and tidy. He's not half the player at the skips miles in front of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be nice for him if he moved on in January. Really, I think he needs that break.
My Pat says my only worry is lack of pace from Cresswell. He's 32 now and great crosser, but gets caught out at the back, and Spurs will try and exploit that. Definitely, the likes of Balbuena and Cresswell were caught out massively this time last year at the Toilet Stadium. But to be fair, on the other hand, I've just seen this Cresswell's stats last night versus Genk is a completely different opposition. 81 touches, 11 crosses, 5 ball recoveries, 2 clearances, 2 chances created, 2 assists. He did at times slow things down on that left-hand side. I know it's a different opponent, but yeah, they would definitely try and exploit that. That is for sure. Winks got kidnapped with still. They are currently able. The kidnapper just wants a Spurs win. That's funny. Everybody's saying hello to Peach. Moyes is a master at this kind of game, hopefully. Yeah, I'm dreading if we lose Sunday, especially the Baked Spuds. We have to take this game seriously on Sunday. No church day today. Everybody's saying, talking to Peach. Right, it's that time of the show. I can't believe you've done 51 minutes, Sean. But
good effort, that is. Good effort.
Good effort. But final part of the show, business time, prediction.
I am going to go with a 2-2.
That's it. Fair play. You didn't predict the Spurs win. That's good. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Who's going to score then for going? Who's going to score for Spurs?
You've worried me with a set piece thing. I've put it that way. I think I will go a little. I think in the weekend. Sorry, with a long answer again. At the weekend, I think it was Nuno's stats, even back to the Wolves stage, scoring in the first half is pretty terrible. And I know we scored a few scored 3 against Newcastle in the first half. I think Son will score, and I think why not? I think Eric Dyer will score for Tottenham.
It was going so well. You didn't predict the Spurs win, and you picked Eric Dyer to score.
Didn't say he was going to score in the right net, though, did I?
Oh, you came back from that well. Let's have a look.
I think Antonio will probably get one because he's just a handful. I'll go with Son and don't know. I think I'll be surprised. I'll be very disappointed if we let in more than 2. And I think we've got a couple of goals in us. So, but again, a lot of pressure on Ndombele from me.
Yeah, there is. Right, Shiny says, is it true pigeons fly upside down over Tottenham because there ain't nothing worth pooing on?
You can't be jealous of that stadium. I seen your little pathetic light show last night.
Pathetic light show? You saw it on West Ham Unofficial, did you?
Yeah, just trying to copy the big stadiums of like events and those pathetic little flamethrowers you had on the field. You never
no flamethrowers. It was professional light machines. And did you see some of them were going up like that for the irons? They're going up like that.
I'm surprised it didn't catch on fire. Oh dear.
Right, let's take some of your comments. Guys, keep your predictions coming in. 4-1 says Gary to West Ham, of course. 1-1. Zuma first goal incoming. 2-1 to the Hammers, says Shiny G. This man's having a laugh. Tell him, Jakey boy. Big Craig Dawson. He scored last night. He's on fine form, 5 goals in all competitions so far this season. The geezer's on fire, and he's not even playing in the Premier League. It's what he does best. I'm kind of thinking a Zuma goal as well, says Danny. I agree, Rich. 1-1, very cagey game. 4-2 to West Ham. 4-1 and done, says Peach. Pathetic. It was like Sydney Harper on there. Brilliant. Right, give us your final thoughts then, Sean, for the game Sunday.
What's your score prediction first?
Oh, he wants my score prediction first. To be honest, I haven't really thought about it massively, but I'll be sat on a cruise ship watching it. And my prediction for this game is, I think both teams will score, but I think West Ham will definitely have the upper hand. Of course, they will. It won't be difficult. I can see it. I'm going to go pretty much a carbon copy of last February at the London Stadium. I'm going for a 2-1 West Ham win. I think we'll take the lead. You'll pull one back, or whatever it was. We score 2, and then you pull one back, and then it's business time for the last 20 minutes, like it always is for West Ham. But before we go on to your final thoughts, if you're watching now, make sure you do drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial. How many likes are we up to? 14 likes. Come on, let's get to 20 likes before the end of the show. Hit that like button. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, click the link that is in the chat now to become a channel member from just £3 or £5 a month. You can support West Ham Unofficial with exclusive videos, emojis. You can get a big Craig Dawson emoji. What more in the world could you want? So cross numbers for West Ham goals. He's going for 1 for Fornals, 2 for Antonio, and 1 for Jared Bowen. 3-1, says Danny. Yeah, no live shows in the next week because we're going on holiday, which is I'm looking forward to it. I can't lie, but there's a couple of pre-recorded videos going out over the week, so make sure you hit the bell icon so you are notified for those. Lanzini, of course, it is holiday. Who signed that off? Well, do you want to sign it off, Luke? I hope so. Everybody's saying hello to Peach again. Right then, so have you said your final thoughts? I forgot.
No, not yet, mate.
Then, final thoughts.
My final thoughts are going back to the Arsenal game when it's probably the most dismal performance from the coach and the players in what you could call one of our 2 or 3 derbies we've got in the Premier League in a very, very long time. A few players have actually come out and said straight it was nowhere near good enough and a disgrace. The fact that Tottenham's 11, I've got to say it's our best 11 because they started the last 2 games and they've been rested for this. They've been at the training ground working on it as a team. I'll be very, very shocked and even more disappointed if they fold. Like the 4-2-3-1 helped straight away. But if they concede 3, I'll be very disappointed. The fact that they know they owe the fans a performance after the Arsenal game. Forget the last 2 against Villa and Newcastle. I think we're not daft. This is a bigger game than that. And this is the first chance they've had to put that Arsenal game right. So 2-2, that doesn't sound too bad. I'll be very shocked if they concede 3. And that just shows that the wheels haven't come fully back on yet. Do you know what I mean? But this is Tottenham. You just don't know what you're going to get. The fact that they've had all week, the fact that Rice, I don't know if he struggles with injuries and fitness a little bit. I don't know. I know he came off in the Euro final on the hour mark, didn't he? And a little bit. So I don't know if there's something there.
That was nothing to do with injury. That was just Gareth Southgate.
That's maybe, but he was the best player up to that point.
Well, he was. Well, that's the mystery with bringing Jordan Henderson on. Everything just stopped. But anyway.
Yeah. So you just don't know with Tottenham. I went for 2-2. I think it's more likely to be 3-1 Tottenham than 3-1 West Ham. Put it that way.
Well, there we go. So we're now going to hand over to West Ham Fan TV's post-match point now. You've got 1 minute to go and get yourself a drink, go to the toilet and get yourself set up for that. Sean, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Thank you very much. Take a couple of comments to finish off. Can't have a light show at their stadium as they prefer to live in shadows. Good comment, Luke. Thank you very much, everybody in the chat, for saying hello, putting your comments in tonight. And from me, come on, you irons, and whatever those lot do over in North London. I'm going to jump in the shower, and then I'm going to have some entertainment with a little bit of West Ham Fan TV, and then a little bit of Villa smashing Arsenal tonight. It is a massive game indeed. Thank you very much. Cheers, Sean, and everybody in the chat. We'll catch you next one. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.